Gary Gabagool here. My boy Sal coming in about a minute. We are all fired up. It's the Red Podcast 29.
What's up, you bad bitches?
And we're going to try to prevent ourselves from cursing as much as we possibly can because things are going off the rails, people. We're listening to some Rage Against the Machine testify because I pray Jeff Sessions this week has some people testifying in Congress in front of Supreme Court judicial committees and anyone who will listen, because we are at the point now where shit is hitting the fan.
Yes.
Criminality is coming out. We are at a point where our government, now there's one thing I want to say. Liberals, conservatives, independents, Donald Trump, who everybody makes fun of, not us, obviously, deplorables, but everybody on the left, everybody in the media, everybody in politics makes fun of every day. You treat this guy like he's a jerk off. You do. You treat him like he is like a fool. And quite frankly, this guy is right every friggin' time. Do me a favor. Anybody who's listening to this podcast, anybody gets this podcast sent from a friend, tell me one time where Donald Trump has been proven wrong. You tell me, because Sal and I, we go over this over and over. He's not, matter of fact, he's been right every single time. And if you'd like to battle us or debate us or argue with us, go on our podcast. We've been there before. Sal has made you guys look like jack-offs. So have I. There has not been one time he's wrong. Matter of fact, my boy Dempsey, who's right here with me now, he even knows you guys are assholes because Donald Trump has been right every single time.
Now, what it is the left is, they think that if you speak politically correct, that you think politically correct.
Right.
That's probably how they think, because that's the way they speak, and it's just not realistic.
Right.
It's so, and that's my point, is that they don't understand Trump's lingo. They don't understand the vernacular. They don't get it. They don't get that this dude is a billionaire guy from New York, and that's the way people talk.
He's a New York guy. He's a Jersey. He's a ballsy guy. You don't give a shit.
That's the way those type of people talk.
We talk about like that. We're not billionaires. We talk the same way.
Exactly. So like these people just don't understand the problem. I think it's just their way of thinking. It's the total mindset ideology of it that prevents it.
I just think, because here's where liberals lose their mind. I've been thinking about this a long time. Going back a few presidents or people going, you had McCain, he's a chump. You had G.W. Bush, nice guy, chump. You have Mitt Romney, super nice guy, chump. So these three individuals for the last 12 years, they come, or not even 12, 16 years. These guys come into the Republican Party. They're facing either they won or they lost, as obviously Bush won. But these guys never stood up for themselves, never had a backbone. G.W. Bush, this is what listen, I used to have respect for G.W. Bush. I do think he's a nice man. I don't know if you agree. All right. I think, but here's what bothers me about G.W. Bush. In 8 years, he was shit on by Obama. Obama shit on him about the economy, what he inherited, what he failed to do, and G.W. Bush did not say one fucking thing. He sat there and oh yes, as my boy Sal said, the media shit on him too. And guess what he did? He played turtle. He put his head in his shell. He crawled up in Austin, Texas, wherever he lives, and he basically said nothing. And I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. He said he wanted to be out of the public eye. Me personally, I don't agree with it, but I accept it.
Yeah.
Here's where my thinking goes astray. He comes out of nowhere and starts ragging on President Trump. So this is where my hairs on my neck go up, where I get a little fired up, and I'm like, wait a second, you piece of shit. And I don't know if you guys watched my podcast from way back. All my G.W. Bush shit, I ripped up, threw in the fucking garbage, burned it. But this is what bothers me about this. You have someone insulting. Now, if you're from New York, New Jersey, and I'm not insulting anyone else from any part of the country, but if you're someone from our part of the area, Northeast, and someone comes at you verbally, physically, you are going to get an altercation.
Yeah. You don't just let it go by.
And he did. He did. He let these people shit on him and didn't say a word. Now, here's my thought process. Why would a man like him, a very respected man in our government, 44th president, his father was a president, his brother got his ass kicked by President Trump. That's a whole other problem. But you had Barack Obama telling you you're a piece of garbage, which he did for 8 years. Matter of fact, if you guys go back and listen, 3 months before he lost, his inauguration came up for President Trump, he still was blaming President Bush, former President Bush. And President Bush said nothing. So what irks me now is this past week, we hear him ragging on President Bush, saying that, oh, he's not, his substance is bad, he's abrasive, he's this, he's a white supremacist. I want to say this is such bullshit. You should keep your mouth shut, President Bush. If you're watching, and I hope someone sends this to you, I used to be a fan. Do me a favor. You and your lovely wife, go back, watch some baseball, and shut your mouth, because you look like an asshole. You didn't defend yourself to your kids, to your family, to nobody. And now you're coming out acting, because why is that, President Bush? What do you think? Did someone tell him or pay him and said you had to?
Possibly. What I don't get is, how do these ex-presidents, obviously Obama not counting, but how do these dudes not understand that, like, they're, in the eyes of Americans, the majority of Americans, not the bullshit media,
right,
drones that you see out there, the fake stuff. The majority of Americans love this guy and they love America.
They don't care.
And that they go against him
right,
is going against America.
Right.
In the hearts and the minds of most Americans.
Millions of people. Tens of millions.
At least a third of the population.
I agree.
Insanity. We're getting the call right now. Telling us to stop.
And you know what's funny? I couldn't believe this. I was shocked. And I have not been a fan of this former president. Matter of fact, I call him the second worst president of all time behind the Muslim. But Jimmy Carter, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, he's a moron.
But he came out and said President Trump is being treated unfairly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
But after he said stuff a couple weeks ago.
Well, yeah. So it's just, but it's almost mind-boggling that this is what's going on. But enough of that. We spoke about the second thing I want to transition to is this. Listen, Sal and I are not trying to be, what's the word? Arrogant.
No, by no means. We're not trying to be braggadocious.
Exactly. Good word. Yeah. But
there's a time and a place that you need to say the facts, and what you said was right.
Every single thing that happened this week in the media, in life, in DC, Sal, my boy Sal and I we didn't predict, we said it was going to happen. So let's start off with the first story tonight. After we got to give some props to President Trump doing a great job, let's get into this. We said a long time ago. Matter of fact, I said Labor Day 2014. Matter of fact, if I could go back, I talked about Hillary and what was going on in Russia. And then Sal and I came on this podcast 29 ago. Probably one of the first things we talked about.
Yeah.
We're sitting here listening to this, this bullshit Trump, Russia dossier bullshit. And now we're going to transition after this story to Fusion GPS, which we talked about podcasts after. But let's stay on point. There are two things that are going on currently. How the fuck is Hillary not arrested? I have no idea. But if you follow the money, I knew as soon as I heard Russia Trump, I knew it was bullshit. It's the old transference.
Yeah.
We've talked about it.
That's from day
90%.
That's what they do.
I've researched this. Matter of fact, I didn't research this from 2014. I researched this from 2011, 2010. And I came across this. That's when Facebook kind of came into fruition. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton met up with a guy from TD Bank, which we see every day. He was a very rich man out of Canada. His name was Frank Giustra, Giustra. They decided to get together and figure out how they were going to do what they do. So they did two things. One is they hooked up with Russia because he had fucking some contacts, and she was SOS. So she had a lot of contacts. Obama basically let it carte blanche. Number two is they let him go down to Haiti because it was a natural disaster. So they decided to rape these two places. But Russia actually did better than we did on this. And they didn't care. So Haiti got raped, and you had these poor, basically poverty-stricken people who had a natural disaster, who had nothing. These people are holding on by the fucking nails on their hands, fought, and they just got raped. All their money gone. All their boom gone. Now, Russia was smart. They said, we're going to get uranium. So there was Uranium One and there was Rosatom. Two companies. Russian people are not stupid. Believe me, they are not. If you think they are, then you're a fucking idiot. They're very sharp people, especially as KGB, which Putin and those guys are. All of them are. Very sharp individuals. Hillary, matter of fact, is probably playing with she's probably playing with some shorter deck, cards in the deck. She ain't as smart as them. So they play her. She got paid, though. I'll give her that. She got paid. She got paid $145 million. $145 million. And what did they get? 20% of her uranium and a lot more to go with that. So here we are, 2017. Third week in October.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. What freaks me out about the whole Uranium One deal is, I mean, what you said, everything on point, so correct. They sold us 20% of our uranium to Russia, but what they don't talk about, this is where the story stops, and people don't understand the second half of the story, is Russia sold their uranium. We sold them. They sold it back to us.
That's my point.
Double the price.
Right.
And this isn't talked about by anybody on the news. Nothing I've heard of.
Nothing.
Who owns these power plants that bought the stupid uranium back?
Right.
What kind of deal was cut with them and Obama and all them? How much of a piece of the pie did they get?
Sal makes a great point.
What power companies are they that bought it back?
Like, and I don't want to.
It seems treasonous to even buy it back.
Right. I don't want to bring this up too much, but think about this. These people are not that intelligent. But think about this. Do you remember the Gulf oil spill? You remember that? Remember when Barack Obama said, we will not be drilling in the Gulf anymore? So think about what Sal just said. Think about what he said. Here's what happened. The only thing you have to do is substitute Rosatom Uranium One for Petrobras, a Brazilian oil company. So what happened? The oil spill happened. We tried to clean it up. He didn't sell. He gave the rights, and God knows how much money he got. But he gave the rights to this company that George Soros owns. Next thing you know, he's selling the oil, the petroleum, back to our military for 4 times the amount, just like this. So these fucking idiots had a plan. They had a plan.
They're making money off of
destroy our country,
destroy our economy.
And it's taxpayers' money. And liberals don't want to take their heads out of their fucking asses and realize that this is felonious criminal activity of the highest level. It boggles my mind that today, even today, I argue with people about this. And guess what they said to me? Gary, fake news. And I want to strangle them because I'm like, are you out of your mind?
You physically see the money coming out of your
Exactly.
check. Like, what is fake news about it? You see the money. You see it disappearing.
We have an FBI witness that Jeff Sessions just took the gag order out. He has an audio tape of Obama, Eric Holder. I'm telling you right now, we need to get the whole entire DOJ, FBI cleaned up. So we're talking about Mueller, McCabe, Comey, Lynch, Rosenstein, Obama, Clinton, Rice. They all got to go down. And here's what I propose. Obviously, we know who the highest in the hierarchy of scumbags. The 2 highest are Obama and Clinton. I personally think, you guys might not believe me, I actually think Obama is low on the totem pole. He's so stupid. He's so dumb. I just think he gets his strings pulled and he just does whatever they tell him. I actually think he's probably, of all those individuals, he's one of the stupidest guys there. And when I hear people say to me, we have relatives that say that he's the best president ever, how bright he is, I laugh my ass off because I actually think he's one of the stupidest. And I don't cut slack to nobody, but I almost cut slack to him because he is probably being played like a puppet on a string.
Just the reasoning for him being the best president ever from their mouth is the best. Well, no other president carried themselves so well. No one spoke as well as President Oh God,
I can't deal with it.
It's like you got fooled by an actor, basically. Like
He's not. He's
got
and
fooled.
he's a bad actor.
Yeah, you got
he's
fooled by a bad actor. You're watching a shitty Chinese movie.
Yeah,
like the subtitles. That
exactly.
movie. You're watching Godzilla from the '60s. Like.
Well, it amazes me how easily liberals can be fooled. We see it all the time, and we see it with these idiots from Antifa. That you could just tell them, you could feed them anything. And if you people, the one thing I pride myself on is I do my research. Way before all this went bad, I researched Saul Alinsky. I researched Karl Marx. I researched Che Guevara. I researched Castro. I researched Popal, Mao. I know there's a plan. This isn't something that just came up 5 years ago. This has been going on for 100 years.
Hundreds of years.
And guess what? Every one of you liberals that we talk about disparagingly every podcast, you go right along with it. You do.
The last, I'm not going to try to, I don't want to bash liberals the entire time
on
this podcast, but this is the last thing I'm going to say about liberal people. Any type of animal, fungus, being on this planet, they are parasites. Liberals are straight up parasites. They live off the host that they're trying to kill.
Right.
It's unreal, these people. And once the host dies, what do they think is going to happen? Where do they think they're going to go? What do they think they're going to do? What do they think is going to happen? They're going to live in this utopia world all of a sudden? What do they think?
Well, it's funny because I saw a video this week that was so disturbing. I don't know if you saw it. They were I think they're in Berkeley, and there was a couple. They were outnumbered heavily. There was some conservatives there, probably 20 of them, but there was a lot of fucking crazy Antifa members. And the one guy, I give him credit, he was up in there. And he was in their grill, but he was calm, and he kept saying, and this one dude, his name was Jim Johnston. You probably go online and look at him. Blonde hair kid with the the man bun, skinny little punk, but he had a weapon in his hand, and he kept threatening and yelling, and there were so many of them. And I sit here and say, to be this whacked out of your head, and this violent and this angry over what? And they asked him, and he couldn't decide. He didn't know why he was mad.
Racial injustice, man.
And meanwhile, you're a white kid going to a $75,000 school, so you sound like kind of an asshole. Yeah. And so I watched this stuff, and I said, God Almighty, I would love for me and my boys to be able to just wreck people, just literally get angry and wreck people. And I don't even care if people
verbally and physically.
Yeah, I would like to physically get angry, just total these people out. But it was funny to watch this stuff. But there's a lot of that going on now. There's a lot of it going on.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So that was insane with this whole uranium one deal. I knew when this story broke, I was like, that's it. I was like, this is now something about the Clintons.
Another thing.
The GOP, or not the GOP, the House passed the budget today. So that's going to streamline our tax reform.
Yep.
So that'll be
nice. That's a $4 trillion.
So like what I said, remember, if you remember a few podcasts ago, I said tax reform and one of these things. Tax reform and that's what's happening right now.
He's not a dummy. No, he's not a dummy. Another thing that kind of ties into this is my boy Sal and I talked about this a couple. Fusion GPS.
Yeah, you've been big on this one for a long time.
Well, here's what happened. I found out that these group of individuals that run this company are all former DNC members from the Hillary Obama campaign, right? So when she lost the election, they had to do something. So what happened? Soros and DNC funneled a lot of money into this group of jerk-offs. So these guys, and listen, this is where people should be concerned, because this isn't just them bashing President Trump. There's 5 instances, of private American citizens, American business and businessmen and women who just had a diverse viewpoint or action of what they wanted, and they got attacked. So, for example, if they believed in global warming, just hypothetically, and this one individual, this actually happened, he was an American citizen, not a rich man. He just was a guy who started a company that was opposed to global warming. What happened? DNC funneled all this money against this guy. They said he was a pedophile. They said he was a drug addict. They said he was, those 2 claims alone, when someone says that to you, and they had a lot of money, so they put it in the paper. They had an individual, a woman, come out and say that he was a sexual harasser. They had someone say that their child was molested by him. It was all proven false. So these are the kind of individuals you want to support. People who slander. Because listen, in today's world, it's not who tells the truth. That has nothing to do with the media today. The truth is the farthest thing from what their thoughts are. It's who comes out first and who comes out with the most extreme viewpoint. So here we are, people. Here we are in America, 2017. You're a normal citizen. Sal, myself, anyone out on this podcast. And you do something they don't like, whatever that may be. And what happens? You have a group of individuals, not one person, claiming you're this. You have a huge, powerful, highly financed organization coming down and telling your neighbors, your community, your school, where your kids go, your job, that you are all these lies they make up. That is one of the most disgusting, most fucking disgusting things you can do to somebody. So what they did is they took that same idea and they did that against President Trump. It was proven today because we have all the financial records. The Trump dossier in Russia was a complete hoax. We all know this, but it was proven yesterday. So this Fusion GPS, and they were supposed to, I don't know if you people know this, they were supposed to testify. They all pleaded the fifth.
Yeah, I saw that. They even got, before we came on, they got Wasserman, Schultz, and Podesta. They both denied the dossier in an investigation. They're like, no, it's not even real. Right. What are you talking about, dossier? That's how, they're the ones who probably wrote it. That's what I was saying to Angie before. This is ridiculous.
Well, they wrote and then they just paid him.
Oh, my God.
So this is what's going on.
I wrote something about Bush and Clinton's paid for the dossier, too, but I have to look up the Bush.
No, you know what's funny? Listen, he disgusts me so much that I don't even care. Yeah. But yeah, Clinton's definitely paid. I saw the financial records, the emails. I saw the payment settlements in the bank records. So they did pay. And I heard some bullshit where they said, whoa, I don't think we paid. We just accepted it. It's such nonsense. Listening to these fools is nonsense. They think the American public is like every dope liberal that they fool every day of their lives.
They think it's like the movies that they make, where the bad guys fall down after one kick,
exactly.
It's just like, and that's the way paralyzed. Like,
exactly.
Wait a second here.
Exactly.
Where do you want to go to now?
You take something and then we'll go from there.
All right, we'll go back because we've been big on the
pedophilia.
Yeah, but I want to, before we get there, because there's so much that has to even break still with that. We're going to talk about the stuff that's real and that we know about. And that came out today in the New York Post about Ashley Judd being complicit with Harvey Weinstein. This is the stuff that I've been waiting for to come out. I hope more and more of these stories come out because I want to know who actually is like, yeah, fuck you. All right, give me my odds. All right, what's the deal? Well, I want to know all those people because you know there's got to be a lot. Well, if there's a lot that were harassed, there's got to be a lot that are like, what do I got to do?
I don't want to interrupt Salness. I'm going to let him go on his thing. But I just want to give you this one thing. Ashley Judd. She's married to a NASCAR or a Formula One driver named Dario Franchitti. People have told me I look like him, which I don't think I do, but people have told me I do. Yeah. Anyway, she is the one that's causing the biggest stir in Hollywood, along with that douchebag Madonna, about President Trump.
They were in that women's march. Yes. That's what the whole ironic thing is.
So here I am. Now I will be quiet. I just want to preface this. I will let Sal go on this thing about Ashley Judd.
Oh my God!
Go, brother.
The irony of it all. Like this woman.
I'm gonna turn into a Christian. Amen. Go, Sal. Amen.
Up on a podium complaining about misogyny and sexual harassment that she didn't even know was true or not about Donald Trump and that damn women's march. And then it came out today that there's documented little, I don't know how exactly they got it, tape recording, whatever. But she says to Harvey Weinstein, I'll agree only if I win an Oscar. And then Weinstein countered with her and she said she fled the room. And then she was on Good Morning America saying how this happened. And she's like, yeah, but I'm proud of my decision and I stand by it.
That she ran away.
So, but she's proud that she ran away. You dummy. You asshole. You just admitted to saying that you would have had sex with him if you would have won an Oscar. And you agreed to the deal. You're the one who brought the deal up. You moron.
So.
But I can't wait. I hope more of those stories come out. Oh my God. I hope there's some really fun ones. I really do.
Right. And
she made me bark like a dog. He made me dress up like a furry. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear some of these stories.
I think what it ultimately comes down to is all these women in Hollywood or outside of Hollywood complaining about President Trump are the same ones that are upset because they're the ones that agreed to doing really nasty shit for a payday or an Oscar or
you
a movie
yourself
or a part, whatever, or contract. So that's why they're so upset with President Trump, what he said about pussy. That's neither here nor there. We've talked about that before. But there's something that I want to talk about, and I can't make light of this, and I'm not gonna talk about this like in a fun way.
Okay.
But my wife turned me on to this video, and
it's free right now. Open secret.
Yeah,
talk about it.
I personally, I know people say they don't want to watch this shit because it upsets them, but I completely think you need to watch this. And I'm going to give you the synopsis, Cliff Note version. It is incredible. I'll be the first to say it's incredibly upsetting, but it's truth. So I think people need to know this. And basically what it is they did something that has never been done before. They actually showed the victims, and they showed them from when they were young to how their lives moved through. Some of them died. Some of them committed suicide. Some of them hung themselves, shot themselves, drug overdosed. And then some made it, so to speak, and are fucked up. And out of all those kids, they showed one who was he got abused by so many people, and his parents loved him so much that he's basically a vegetable in a wheelchair. He used to be a football coach. And then there was one guy who made it, who he's married. And of all the people, and God knows, I know this is kind of sounding very flippant, it seems like he's the only one that kind of got through this. And this kid was married, but he happened to call the guy who abused him. And you hear the conversation. Now, here's a grown man. He was like Sal's age. And he had a wedding ring on. He had a child. I think he had a daughter. And he called the man who abused him. And you have to hear the way this man spoke about what he did. He made comments like, that's what happened back then. You got to get over it.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
It's disturbing. And then Corey Feldman comes on, and he talked about the situation with Corey Haim. And people, this is not going to be pleasant, but it's the truth. He basically said that there was a room full of men, old Hollywood producers, directors, 8 of them, and they brought in each boy individually. So it was one boy, and they brought in another boy, and they brought in 6 boys. And then when they brought them all in, they paraded them around. Now, these are 8-year-old kids. And then they dismissed them one by one. So it went from being one boy in the room to 2 to 3 to 6. And then they all looked at each other and dismissed 6 boys down to 1. And Corey Feldman was eliminated. So Corey Haim, who was in the room, he's the only one that was there. He wound up at 8 years old being gangbanged by 8 men. And you think about this, and no one, and here's what pisses me off. That piece of shit Jabba the Hutt, Harvey Weinstein, this week went in, and he got his fat ass held to the fire. And what did he do? He said, I'll tell you guys about the pedophiles in Hollywood. So some may say, oh, Harvey's looking to save his ass. He's a rat. He's a scumbag. I look at him as he ain't doing nobody any favors because he's looking to save his ass. What happened, Harvey, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when you knew all these kids that are dead? They're dead. And this open secret, they show them. They're all dead. What you could have saved all these people's lives if you had a little bit, even a slab of integrity, but you're a fucking coward, a scumbag. You have no balls. He should not. Let me tell you something. If I was the DA, I would take his statement, and guess what I'd say to him? Guess what? I'm passing on the deal. You got no fucking deal. You're going to jail for the rest of your life, and we're gonna put you in a Rahway State Prison with hardened core dudes, and you're gonna be raped every day,
games,
like you did.
There's another amazing documentary about the pedophilia out there in Hollywood and all that shit that never ever got any play at all. It's by this guy, this comedian named Barry Crimmins, and the documentary is called Call Me Lucky. It came out maybe 2-3 years ago, and it is disturbing. I remember I watched it I watched it when it came out, and this guy Crimmins was a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
He was in like whatever. He was in a few movies.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, so I'm listening.
But yeah, he goes through it, and then
So he's a child actor?
he wasn't a child actor. He just got raped when he was a child.
Okay.
But he grew up to be, you know, kind of famous actor or comedian, whatever. And he just goes through it, and then he's a huge advocate about stopping it. He has all kinds of organizations now trying to stop it. If you want to see, I know Open Secret is free. I don't know about the Call Me Lucky. It's a documentary. It's all you can probably get it for free. But Open Secret's on Vimeo for free, so just look up it on Vimeo. You can watch it. And it's
watch it.
It's like a major motion picture. It's like it's done right.
Right.
It's not just like handheld cams and shit.
Well, I'm still sitting here, and we talked about a couple. I'm still wondering what happened, and nothing's been discussed about, you know, what happened with, you know, Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington.
I know, like they just sweep it under the rug, and then we saw Paddock's brother get arrested in North Hollywood on child porn charges.
And
like how creepy is this?
Every
shit?
one of these assholes,
they're all in Hollywood, like,
and they're all child pornographers. It's bizarre, and every day, and now you're starting to hear, like, today we heard
there's a huge pattern, like
huge, powerful men. Today, I mean, we heard about Bush Senior. That's a whole nother. I ain't gonna go into all these, but
Bush Senior, like, yeah. I was saying to them, I heard that Bush Senior, as a handshake, he would do the ass pinch.
Yeah,
that was his handshake, the ass pinch, men and women, not just, you know, women. So, like, just think about how creepy that is.
Today we had a guy from the Washington Times or whatever. He pleaded out that he apologized for hitting on young women and being inappropriate.
The MSNBC dude, right?
That dude, yeah. So
it's
this is coming out, and here's the thing that what Sal said is so funny is that liberals, the people marching, the women marching in the stupid fucking thing 6 months ago with the vaginas on their heads, you know, crying about Bush taking away their birth control and their abortions. Those same women that were doing that were the ones basically advocating harassment, rape, abuse, like Ashley Judd. Like, well, and I'll guarantee you there is way more to the story, but Ashley Judd cutting a deal saying that fat bastard could bang her if he gave her an Oscar. She basically said that.
No, she did say it.
She said it. And then she's mad because Donald Trump said the word pussy. Matter of fact, she probably said worse on that audio tape than Donald Trump said in a locker room with his friends.
Yeah.
You hypocritical bitch.
She was doing that to try to get over and get an award.
Right.
It's crazy. What I want to talk about that the Russia dossier real quick again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, Mueller was included in that investigation. So
Correct.
Now, how do you investigate the investigator? How does that work?
Well, it's gonna the way I have to see if Sessions does the job right, you got to get rid of Mueller, Comey, and McCabe, who's the current FBI director.
Start over? What do you
got? You got to. I always said this. I think we said it before. You need to basically get up. If you guys remember, I think I spoke about this before. Remember Elliot Ness and the Untouchables? Basically, back in the day, the FBI or the group was corrupt. It was during Prohibition. So what would happen was anything that came down, they would sell to the mafia or the Kennedys, and things would get busted up and come over the border of Canada, whatever the case may be, Irish whiskey, whatever. So Elliot Ness formed a group with Elliot Ness to like have their own little secret society where they could do anything. They didn't have to stand by the letter of the law. I think that's almost how it has to be. Yeah. You have to get. Me personally, if I was President Trump or Jeff Sessions, I would get former or current Navy SEALs or special ops guys. Get the guy who's like the biggest admin guy, make him the chief, whatever you do, and then get provocateurs who are ass kickers, who love their country, who can be trusted, and you pay them a little more money, and when they do it, and you say to them, you do whatever you need to do to make this happen. Yes. Violence, do it. Yeah. Killing people, do it. Yeah. You do whatever you got to do. And And if you remember that movie, Ellie Ness, Robert De Niro, that scumbag, he played Al Capone. And that was who was basically undermining our government at the time, stealing all the taxes, stealing all the liquor. That's who was doing it. And Ellie Ness proved successful. I would do the same thing with our government today. I call it back to the future. That's what I would do, because right now we are a mess. And Sal he couldn't have said it any better. How do you investigate the investigators? These are the people who are supposed to be investigating crimes are the criminals.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's fucking whacked.
It's like
it's the Hillary Clinton School of Law.
It's like the inmates are in charge of the prison.
Exactly.
It's like how did this happen? What happened here?
Exactly. What else you got for me there?
We talked about a lot of the good stuff that I wanted to. Now we talked about Soros and the Open Society, how he transferred 18 million into the Open Society. I mean, we talked about that last week, I think.
This guy is supposedly he committed to giving 75% of his wealth to these fucking organizations that are looking to undermine our country. Now, people, this isn't a man who's worth, we think President Trump is wealthy, and he is. This man is worth 10 times what President Trump is worth. And he's I don't know why this guy's doing what he's doing. I can't get into his mind. I just know I don't even know what his end game is. I know his end game is to destroy America, but like he's destroyed all the other countries. But I want to know what has made him this fucked up. I can't figure it out. I've tried. I don't know. You know what's funny? No one ever talks to him. No one ever. I mean, I don't understand how this guy is not in prison. I really don't. I don't know how he's not labeled an international terrorist. He is in some places, like he's in Hungary, Russia.
I mean, he self-admits to rounding up Jews in the Holocaust. He self-admits all these horrible things. Doesn't even feel sorry that he did it. And this guy just gets to walk around like scot-free. I mean, it's amazing.
In a 1998 Newsweek interview, he said, this is what he said: "I hate America and I want to destroy it." And he laughed.
It looks like he's doing it.
It's insanity.
Excuse me. You have people online that keep asking you. They want to know. They want you to talk about Vegas and that Campos fled. Why?
Okay.
Your theory about the CIA and the FBI's involvement.
Okay. Thanks,
They
babe.
keep asking over and over.
Okay. I'm sorry. We don't see that, but okay. Let's switch gears.
Yeah.
You want to give your opinion? Because I have one.
So, Campos, this guy, he was the security guard in Mandalay Bay, right?
Yep.
Right when the shooting, when he got shot before all this went down.
Yep.
I mean, that he only would talk to one of these. That was just what I was about to get to, is that even the left-wing liberal media has to even now cover all these stories.
Yep.
There's no more hiding any of
you
this
can't.
shit. You can't do it.
Yep.
So now, I really think the last little cover-up push that they're doing is this Campos guy.
Yep.
They had him go on Ellen or whatever it was, not talk to anyone else, not go on any other show, not even go on a political show. You go on Ellen on daytime television?
Well, if you follow the money, Ellen promotes MGM, who owns Mandalay Bay, and but go ahead, and then I'll get you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Here's my thing. We all knew something was not right. I mean, you have to be Einstein to figure this out. So here's what I think. I think this Stephen Paddock dude was an illegal arms dealer. He's been doing it for years. I think he got pinched. He got pinched. It happens all the time. Happens to drug dealers, happens to arms dealers, happens to everybody. He got pinched. So they said, "You're going to go to jail or you're going to give us the bigger fish." So he probably said, "My next deal is in Vegas." And they probably said, "Okay, who's it with?" We don't know who that is, obviously. So they jacked up the cameras in the hotel room, planned it out, did what they had to do. And for some reason, the guys buying the guns found out he was a rat.
Did you ever see the movie Lord of War?
I never. Yeah, I did.
With Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Probably his last movie that he made that was decent.
Yes. Kind of like the same.
Yeah, if you guys don't understand what we talk about by arms dealers and what that even is, like how could that be a profession? Watch that movie. It's not, obviously it's a movie, it's not real, but it'll give you a semblance of an idea of what is actually going on out there.
So somehow, some way, the people buying the guns found out that they were being set up by Stephen Paddock. It probably happened remotely close to the time the deal was going down. You know how this goes. It's like dealing drugs. You know, we're talking about illegal, maniacal people, big money. So people could flip out last minute. So what happens? They flip out. They find out. They shoot him. The FBI has this all on camera or audio, and they bust in. But you have a group of men. Here's the difference with drugs. When Pablo Escobar or those individuals go bad, they got drugs in front of them, and they probably have a couple of handguns or whatnot in a room.
They're just trying to escape.
And they're trying to escape. Here's the deal. You're dealing with guys who have military-grade, hundreds of thousands of dollars of weapons that need to escape. So now you're in a hotel room with all of these weapons loaded, and the FBI. Now, how many are there? Who knows? 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. But here's the thing. How is it that an FBI agent from LA was on the scene? No one has answered that question. He was there. Why would an LA guy be in Vegas on the scene?
I mean, we all...
Just happens to be Bethesda's brother.
Well, that's Adam Rouse. Right.
Yeah.
And so now these guys got to escape. So I don't know if these guys are ISIS. I don't know if these guys are just, basically.
Just think, we know that there's sleeper cells
in
America.
Yeah.
This could have been one of them.
Yeah, and I don't know who's buying the weapons. No one knows. But I think the FBI is trying to cover their ass because they're embarrassed because they fucked up bad.
Real bad.
Real bad.
People died.
And so now you have groups. Now, how many guys were in that room buying a gun? 4, 6, 3? Who knows? These guys have you got basically 2 AR-15s that are military grade, and these guys are running, trying to escape. So now you have the bad guys running, trying to be captured by the good guys with all these weapons and all these people. That's the thing. Mass chaos. So that's what I think happened. And it's all being covered up. And Sarah and I spoke about this. We got this dude, Rocky Palermo, who was shot in the hip, in the pelvis. He said there was people that were right in front of me shooting at me.
Just, the sheer trajectory of the bullet and the force of it, that it wasn't from a 30-second force.
No. So we know this is true. And now the FBI, here's what I don't understand. Here's what I understand. And now, with all due respect, President Trump probably needs to address this. I haven't heard him do it. Jeff Sessions hasn't done it. And I think it's a huge mistake. But someone needs to come out and say, what the fuck is going on here? Because there's so much. Here's another problem in America right now. There's so much mass chaos in our political system that this has kind of fallen by the wayside. But something needs to be done because
that they can't. This is what I wrote down. I was like, what the hell did I write down? I can't remember. I was like, can't find hard drive on laptop. I was like, what does that mean? That they can't find the Vegas guy's laptop drive?
They wiped it out. They took it away.
Why would just this hard drive be missing? Not the whole laptop. Come on, were these people retarded?
This is my point.
I think we're retarded.
This stuff happens all the time. And whenever we talk, and I don't mean to go back to Hillary Clinton again, but I just want to give you kind of an analogy what Sal just said. How is it that people can even mention, insinuate that she's innocent when she bleached her hard drive? Listen, we all know this. If you're guilty, you wipe out your hard drive. You're innocent. What do you give a shit? You pass it over. Here you go. So,
what are you going to see? Some boobs? What are you going to see on there?
Listen, if people come on my hard drive, you're probably right. You'll probably see some boobs.
That's it. What's so bad about it?
Because this is what's going on. This shit is so out of control. Out of control it is, and it's just getting worse, and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't. That whole situation, it's such a mystery. I mean, there's no prediction I can say about that, guys. I can't say anything.
Well, it hasn't even been talked about.
Well, it's such a huge cover-up.
Yeah, we all know it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to give it you gotta and all you have is coconuts. How do you open that bitch? How do you get the coconut milk out?
It's frightening. It's frightening. I can't even comprehend how this shit just gets covered up. And I'll say this once, I'll say it a million times, and Sal can address this. We have one problem in this country. One. Politicians aren't the problem. We all know they're scumbags. Hillary Clinton is not the problem. Barack Obama is not the problem. This Las Vegas shooter and the people that fucked up are not the problem. We have one problem. The problem is the media. I cannot stress this enough because here's a well-known fact. If the media told the truth, people that I just mentioned would be fucking.
They wouldn't be able to do what they do.
Exactly. They'd be like, they wouldn't even be stars. They would be like fucking bullshit. What do you call those things? The ones that die out. They'd be whatever they are. They'd be like, because here's the thing. They all know, exactly. They all know what's happening and they allow it because they're paid off. But in the past, in our country, whether you're talking from revolutionary times to 1979, 80, the thing that exploited these people are the media. So we never had corruption at a high level because the media exposed it. But now you have the media that are in bed with these individuals. And that's the only way for the last 30 years we can have such fucked up stuff going on is because they're involved, because they brainwash these individuals who watch the news. They're paid off, so they don't report it. So what they do is they report all the bad against conservatives and keep silent on the good. Against the Democrats, which is a lot, they keep quiet on that, and here we are. And here's what we got. It's the fucking media.
And the beauty of it is to, I don't know, if you guys don't follow Project Veritas, follow Project Veritas.
Excellent.
And before I get into Project Veritas, to get Gary's live videos notified to you, there's a button. Just click it right now. There's like 3 bubbles that says turn on live notifications, and you'll get all of our podcasts live right when they start.
Yep.
But anyway, Project Veritas. This dude, James O'Keefe, released about 5 videos last week, all going against the New York Times.
Amazing.
Assistant editors, head editors, the top dude. Did you see the
Yes.
Project Veritas, the main chief
Yes.
editor? Well, he's talking to lowly employees.
Yeah,
they don't
like-
have much importance, blah, blah, blah. This guy.
Just acting like a complete asshole.
And then he came up to him while he was getting coffee in Brooklyn and started asking him all the questions. And he wouldn't answer.
No, he ran away. Ran away.
It's just like, this is so corrupt. And then he tried to address him again.
Right.
James O'Keefe just torches him every time. Every time he just like points out how fake they are, how corrupt they are, how anti-Trump they are.
Right. And these are the people that 45% listen to. This
And
is
people
how
really
fucked up.
like, and especially if you listen to like Joe Rogan or something, they'll always talk about how he reads the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. Well, I'm not with the Wall Street Journal, but how he always reads the Times, the New York Times, and he loves it, and he thinks that they're a real publication, and it's just like, he saw a glimpse for himself talking previously back to the McGregor fight when he had to call out the New York Times for doing that bogus headline.
Correct.
How that didn't change his mind right there. Right. You still hear him spew on his podcast about it. It's like, dude, stop reading this fake shit.
I personally think that there's nothing to watch anymore. Sal said many podcasts ago that TV is dead, cable TV. I agree. But I don't think there is any news organization in America that you could really listen to and get the truth. I think it's all bullshit. I mean, listen, Fox used to be, to me, probably the only one I can listen to. I know what you liberals are going to say, Fox, but I'll tell you right now, I don't give a fuck what you say, and I'll argue with any of you. Fox is fucked up, and the probably 2 people that you can get accurate stuff is probably Hannity and Tucker Carlson. Those are the only 2. And I'll debate any of you about what their stories, because probably you want to hear something weird, and I'm not trying to pat, Sal on the back. Their stories are exactly what Sal and I've been saying for months. Yeah. I mean, just say this Russia uranium thing we've been talking about for years. Yeah. So it is what it is, but we've been talking about it forever. So I don't know how anybody watches any of that shit, because it's complete nonsense. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, go. The bigger question for me is the people who don't watch like the Project Veritas videos. They don't watch the insider undercover stuff that you really get to see who these people are. They don't.
Why do you think that is?
Because they believe so much. Like, I don't get how an ideology can take over your brain
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
I don't get it.
All right. You know what? I think it's like this. I believe in Santa Claus so much. He's on my roof right now. Oh, I think I saw him. He's there. Yes, that's Santa Claus. I saw him. That's what it's like. You're right.
Yeah, like the ideology
is just shot.
It's corrupted your brain so much that you believe fake stuff is real and real stuff is fake. Like, how did this happen? I feel like there's such a rewiring that happened to people's brains. I can't explain it. Like,
let's be honest. You said it many times ago, and I cannot agree. It's a mental disorder. It's a mental disease. Because go to a regular medical journal and see what a mental disease is. I hate to tell you, it's liberalism. Because when you are void of facts, just like Sal said, if you see James O'Keefe undercover with the New York Times saying that we lie about Trump, that's our goal in life, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And you sit there and say, I don't believe it. There's something fucked up with your brain. I don't know what else to say to you. You are whacked out of your mind.
Well, let's put the shoe on the other foot right now.
Go ahead.
I swear to you, I would think like this. This is not just me being whatever, like libertarian or whatever. If the New York Times had done that shit to Obama and said he was PP stuff and all this, and that, I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it. Right. Just like they're saying all this stuff about Trump, I don't like. How can it's such a farce.
Right, I want to see some proof.
They don't, and like I'm just trying to advocate to people who think that like I hate these people.
No, I agree.
If the shoe was on the other foot and all they were doing was bashing Hillary and bashing Obama, I would be like pretty skeptical. I'd be like, wait a second here.
My boy Sal makes a good point. I'm gonna give you an example. When, like, we heard just what happened with those 4 military guys who died in Niger. And what happened? I'm not going to get into that.
We can get into that. I'm good.
But what happens is the left blamed President Trump, I heard. Okay. Now, let's rewind this bitch to when something happened bad under Obama. Now, Benghazi, I blame Obama. And I blame Hillary. That's a fact. We don't have to go into it. But when something happened in the act of war with American soldiers, in wherever in the world they were at, I didn't blame Obama. I didn't blame Hillary. That's where things go astray. They lose their credibility, because how are you blaming President Trump for something that happened in Niger when these guys were there for a reason? He didn't fucking leave them out there to die like they did in Benghazi. He didn't know them being there. I heard people. Can you believe people argue with me that it was the same? And that's where you liberals are completely out of your fucking mind. And it is so hard for you people who don't like I curse. It is so difficult for me not to curse when I got to deal with these fucking idiots every day who are comparing Niger to Benghazi. And I can go on and on how whack that is.
I didn't hear that comparison.
Let me tell you something. I almost went nuts on this dude. I almost put my hands around his throat because it was so ignorant and so stupid. I mean, it's just transference. It's just nonsense. It's ridiculous.
And anybody who listens, anybody who cares, followed that whole the whole soldier in Niger and his wife and the Trump call and all that. We followed that stuff.
Yep.
If you're like me, you listen to it. They had video and they had the phone call.
Yep.
So you got to see and hear it. It's like a 4 or 5 minute video. Couldn't have been more respectful.
No, what he said was, he couldn't have said it any better.
She couldn't have been more respectful.
Yes.
She was very nice to the president.
Well, what do you think happened?
And then
I can tell you what I think.
And then she goes and lies about it the next day.
Why do you think that is?
Of course, I know why.
She got paid off.
But like, we have the physical evidence right there in front of us, and you're lying to us.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you know what?
Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, guys. Like, this is ridiculous.
Here's the problem. President Trump in that situation, he could attack Federica Wilson. She's an asshole. But him going against that widow, he's in a no-win situation. No, if he did, I said. Yeah. He's in a no-win situation. He's fucked. Yeah. Because they're going to say, oh, he's a bully. He's going against. It's just so screwed up.
They want to get on because he hesitated when he said that.
This is what we talk about.
Kidding
well, can I tell you one? Here's something funny.
This is the parasite behavior I talk about.
You know that wacko with the fucking the Gene Autry hat?
I don't want to even acknowledge it.
Right. You know she spelled her name wrong? She spelled it wrong on the tweet. Spelled his wife's name wrong. No one said a word about that. You're saying he hesitated when he said her name,
but
his bitch said it wrong, spelled it wrong.
Can't spell.
Right. Fucking ignorant. Don't.
That whole story killed me, and it killed me that poor woman, the soldier's wife, is like now in the middle of it.
Well, that's the way they played it.
Yeah.
But all right, this is nuts. What's going on? But last thing I want to discuss, and for those of you in the country, if you're in California, you may understand this. If you're in Illinois, you may understand this. If you are in let's talk about Connecticut, maybe New York. Yes, you do know this. But we are here in New Jersey. And we need to discuss this piece of shit, Murphy.
You know he's a piece of shit when you have Obama and the Clintons and the Bushes all maybe not the Bushes, maybe
it the Bush? I don't think your first four.
I was gonna say, hey, not the Republican, but still, you got Obama and Clinton's campaigning for you, and you know this guy's evil immediately.
This is amazing to me, people. This man, I'll give him credit for one thing. He is honest. He's honest.
He's telling you flat out he's going to ruin the state.
He's telling you he's gonna. We are, for those of you from outside the country here, you may not understand this. New Jersey, where we live, our property taxes are insane. Insane. I mean, if you have a lot of, say, half an acre, you're paying $15,000 a year in taxes. If you try to get car insurance, you're paying double or triple what you people pay for wherever else you live in the country. U.S. News and World Report had a study about how much it costs to pave 1 mile of road. So they listed all the 50. There was 3 of the most expensive. Number 3 was Connecticut. And I think it was like $672,000 to pave 1 mile of road. New York City was second. It was like $802,000. And then New Jersey was first. It was $1.02 million to pave 1 mile of road. And why do you think that is? The unions. The union in this state are running roughshod. And it's funny because the Democratic Party, I did my research, the Democratic Party gets 99.5% of their donations from what? The unions. So if you're here in New Jersey and you're driving down Route 21 or they're doing McCarter Highway, or if you're driving, you'll see about 50 guys working or supposedly working.
Shit.
There's 3 of them working, 47 watching on their phones, drinking a cup of coffee, laughing their balls off.
When can we do this construction?
Right.
Let's do it, let's say
Rush
3
hour,
to 7 Friday.
Right.
Rush hour.
And this is what this Phil Murphy is getting involved with.
How many lanes are we going to close? What's it, 4 lane highway? Let's close down 3. We'll do 4. We'll make them drive on the shoulder.
Right. Yeah. And I'm going to say something that's probably not going to make me very popular on this podcast tonight, but the PBA of New Jersey supported Phil Murphy. Now,
rough.
What the fuck are you cops doing? Are you insane? Because if he makes this a sanctuary state like he said he is, you guys, because here's my thing. Phil Murphy will be probably a worse version of William Wilhelm.
And Jerry Brown.
Jerry Brown. And so those governors don't give a flying fuck, or mayors don't give a flying fuck about their cops.
Once a governor, once a mayor.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't give a shit. So listen, Wilhelm is the mayor of New York, but he's basically a governor because it's such a fucking huge place. New York City is humongous. So he controls bigger than probably some state, most states probably. Brown is a piece of shit. We all know him. But this idiot Murphy, you guys support him. How are you not going to your PBA and saying enough? Enough. You guys might be getting a raise.
I was just going to say.
Maybe. But let me tell you something. In the long run, you are going to be screwed by this guy. I mean, he is no better. He's worse than Wilhelm in New York, who you've seen what he's done to cops. You've seen, you guys become a sanctuary state. We're done. This state is done.
If Murphy gets in, my prediction that I know is going to be right. The exodus of New Jersey will happen.
It's already happening.
It's already happening.
It
happened last year with the Snapple, not the Snap, one of the huge drink finder dudes.
No, the guy Tepper, who is a hedge fund guy. He owns partially owns the Steelers.
There was whenever
Probably another guy.
No, there's another guy. He owned a drink company, I believe.
Snapple?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was Snapple, but he moved to Florida. And
Yeah, they all did.
the tax burden just from him moving cost the New Jersey taxpayers like $10 million
Right.
just from this one guy.
Right. I know.
That's how ridiculous.
I know
this
Tepper
is.
was 878 million because you made 21 billion.
It's unreal.
So, but this is the thing, and this is what you don't get. But I have to talk about this Murphy guy. So,
Exodus in fucking New Jersey is what's
Yeah,
going to happen
so-
if this guy gets in.
listen, I heard, and let's talk about Kim Guandano for a second. I don't know a lot about her. She seems like a good person to me. The one thing I got to respect is that there is going with and this is great. I thought this was great. I'm going to lay it out there for you. I heard it. I was watching the conference. Menendez is going to jail. He will go to jail or lose his job. They asked that Christie may want to get his spot if Menendez goes to jail because the governor will appoint this person. She flat out said, I will not equivocally put Chris Christie in that spot. So let's give this woman some credit. She's not, and she seems like a really good person. I don't like the way Murphy's like basically putting her in with Christie in bed because what I'm told from people that know them is that Kim Guandano was not a puppet of Christie. She did what she wanted to do. I don't know a ton about her, and that's my bad. But I do know this. Murphy is a fucking horrible candidate. He's Corzine on steroids. If you lived in this country, in this state back then, and he was horrific. Horrific. And we just have another guy. He's actually more wealthy than Corzine, and he's actually way more liberal, way more radical. So here we go.
Yeah, he's
bad news.
He's death. I hope he doesn't get in, but he definitely won't get my vote. So
no, so we're not voting for him. Listen, stranger things have happened. Everyone said that there's no way Donald Trump could have won.
Yeah.
So he's our president. I don't think Kim has a chance. But who knows? Maybe stuff like this gets around. Maybe we get the word out. Maybe somehow the buses break down that Murphy's having these inner city people drive to the polls. You never know. Maybe they can bust down on accident or purpose. Maybe we can make them bust down. I don't know.
I hope so.
But that's where we are. But you got anything else?
I'm good. You good? Want to keep going?
No, I'm good. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I powerful show tonight, man.
Really good. So thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Please leave your comments. Sal and I love to discuss this, whether they're for us, against us. We're going out with some Rage Against the Machine. Testify. I want to see some people testifying this week.
Yes, me too.
Let's get Hillary, Obama, Lynch, Holder, Comey. Get them in fucking testifying. So everyone have a great night. Enjoy the weather. It's still pretty good. All right, my boy Sal, Gary Gabagool out. Take care, people. That was good, bro. Okay, this is so bad. Boy, like an hour and 5?
I think so.
Yeah, we're perfect. I think we started exactly that. That was good. We're getting good at that.